This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. Hello everybody, welcome to Cape Rugby TV. It's Wednesday night where we take a look at what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Big thanks to our partners on board with us here at Cape Rugby TV, Direct Access, your financial services partner, Score Energy Drinks, partnered to Western Province Club Rugby, and of course the Western Province Club Rugby S7s, Thorburn Security Solutions, Yes Electrical down on Voortrekker Road, and of course Intercape, official transport providers to Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers. Folks, we've got a jam-packed show for you this evening. We've got Salih Jacobs, he's of course conditioning coach at CPUT. Christopher Andrews from Franschhoek, assistant coach at Franschhoek, he joins us during the course of the show. We'll catch up with Ferdy Davids, assistant coach at Belleville, and with these clubs we'll take a look at some of the hits and memories going back to 2019, and of course have a chat with them about what their prospects were for 2020. And who knows, we might still see something happen later in the year. Of course, during this time, we are joined by Jerome Parvater, and Jerome, of course, chats us through some of those highlights. And of course, you know, Jerome was party to most of these games during the course of the year. But starting us off first, he is a favorite, a darling at Newlands, a darling of Cape Town, darling of Western Province Rugby and the DHL Stormers, and of course South African Rugby. And we're very lucky to have him join us now on the line. DHL Stormers fly-off, Damian Willemse. Damian, how are things with you?
Morning, JP. Thank you so much for having me. Always lucky to be on the guys show. Yeah, things have been going really well during the lockdown. Obviously a bit challenging with the training and so forth during the stages of the lockdown, but it's been going really well. I've had a lot of time to focus on the studies as well. So yeah, really been going good, and excited for the next few months. Obviously, we're allowed to train outside now for longer periods, so that makes a huge difference. And yeah, it's so lucky to be outside and go for your runs and
Yeah.
not have to wake up early in the morning. So yeah, it's been going good. Thanks.
So I mean, it's only been a few days now. Are you feeling like your training has to take a bit of a shift, like you've got to up it a gear now because you've been basically training on one spot, and now you've got more distance?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Look, obviously during the lockdown we have been training hard, but that training is not enough for
Yeah.
a professional athlete and for the level that we operate at. So yeah, I've definitely been trying to up it a gear now and up it a level. So yeah, and it makes a huge difference, being able to now do 2-3 sessions a day,
Yeah.
whereas in lockdown, we could have only done one. So yeah.
And you as a fly-off, I mean, you're like they say the fly-off is the general, the one that controls the field. How does that? Is there a special impact on you as the fly-off in the training, or is your training the same as everyone else?
Yeah, so look, obviously it's been challenging, JP. Definitely with the lockdown and stuff. Being able not to, go outside and do kicking and stuff like that. But like I've tried to find new ways. I looked at a lot of NFL clips,
Yeah.
and I've just tried to like switch it up. Because we were forced to like look at different stuff, and I was forced to like not being able to kick. But that's not an excuse. You have to find new ways. I was starting to look at NFL clips. I looked at Man City, and like I tried to like look at the mental aspect of the
Yeah.
game, and just to
Yeah.
like start growing a little bit more, because obviously I couldn't do the physical part. So I tried to focus on the mental part. And yeah, as I said, like at home, I could only do a few kicking stuff. I had a lot
Yeah.
of balls and stuff, but I could only do a few kicking stuff, which I did. And obviously now I'm able to, start focusing on my kicking and stuff again. So yeah, it's basically just, I try to look at different other angles that I can, improve my game on.
We
Yeah.
had Salman on the show just the other day, and then before that, Chris and some of the other guys, and everybody seems to be doing their own thing. And when they're not doing a Zoom Poikikos or Zoom Brai, you mentioned that you're doing some studying.
Yeah, so at the moment I'm studying business administration. It's basically marketing, going into marketing, and yeah, I mean a lot of the guys at Western Province, as you've seen, are doing studies and studying.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think we as a group, as a collective, we are pushing each other hard. We've known each other for years now. We've gone to school together, play schoolboy rugby together, and for us, it's like just pushing ourselves and pushing each other, to become better people, better players on and off the field. So yeah, I must say that's one of our big focus points and areas that we as players really want to grow in and make sure that we're ready for life after rugby.
It seems like there's quite a few guys in the squad that's from your old school. Or is that not the case anymore?
No, not really. There used to be a few guys.
We're obviously talking about Paul Roos now.
Yeah, Paul Roos.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I think we're only 3 or 4. It's myself, Herschel, Kutsi. Yeah, I think that's it. And Kate Francis Paul Boys. And then Kate Wallater. He's the new addition to our Somers family. So we're about 4 guys.
Is there a bit of a rivalry? I mean, there's always been a rivalry between Paul Boys, Paul Jim, Paul Roos, Bishops. Is there a rivalry like in the team? Do you guys make jokes with each other?
No, definitely the rivalry will always be there. I mean, like we're old boys now, and you know how old boys get at each other. So yeah, definitely. I mean, like Ruan now he's doing his running in Stellenbosch now, and he always tells us how bad Makoto's fields are. So yeah, that rivalry will always be there, and it's such a rivalry to be a part of. And yeah, it's great to see the sportsmanship and the gears that we have and the schools, especially in the Helderberg and the Boland with Paul, both Paul schools. And then obviously Bishops and Rondebosch, those schools from Cape Town. So yeah, it's really lucky to be a part of that.
And have you got much contact from a national perspective with the SA Rugby component?
Yeah, look, the coaches and all of them, they are working really hard behind the scenes. They are touching base with us as well. And yeah, they said we can call them at any time, and they are. Basically, they said they are working for us and they are open to anything. So yeah, if we as players have anything that we want to work on and that we would like to, get coached better or they want help with, they are available and yeah, we can contact them anytime. So yeah, they are very available and as I mentioned, they are working very hard behind the scenes as well.
So listen, from our side, we obviously say stay safe out there. Best to the team. We keep following you guys. We keep talking about what you're doing, and we wish you all the best. Hopefully, catch up soon again.
Yeah, thank you so much, AP. Thank you for having me. Always lucky to be on your guys' show. Thank you so much. Bye bye.
Folks, Damian Willemse there, Cape Town favourite, South Africa favourite, as I said. One of our top stars, rugby stars in South Africa. Great chatting with him. Folks, we'll take a break. When we come back from the break, we'll catch up with Jerome Parvater, also Western Province Rugby. Back in a sec. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. Right, welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV time. Tonight we're focusing on a number of games, and one of the clubs, of course, that we're looking at is Bellville. And Bellville's had a great season in 2019. But we're going to speak more to Ferdy Davids. He's a vice chairperson at Bellville, and we're also going to be joined by Jerome Parvater. And we're going to take a look at a couple of the games. And specifically, we're going to take a look at the matches between Bellville and Belhar. We'll take a look at the match between Bellville and Vineyards. And then we'll wrap it up with Bellville and St. George's that was played at Newlands. So all very exciting. Join me on the line now, Ferdy Davids. Ferdy is, of course, vice chair at Bellville. Ferdy, nice to have you on the show. Hoe gaan dinge by jou, meneer?
Het gaat baie goed en baie dankie. Dankie vir die geleentheid.
Folks, we've also got Jerome Parvater on the line.
JP, dit gaan nou beter nou met level 3, so
Ferdy, ons is terug by jou, meneer. Ons het nou net met Jerome gesels. Hoe gaan dinge daar by julle en die spelers? Is julle nog steeds in kontak met die ouens? Ons weet julle juk om op die veld te kom.
Ek dink die spelers kan nie wag nie. Coach Warren al oefenprogramme aan die spelers uitgegee. Hulle is veronderstel mos nou soos enige ander speler op gedissiplineerd te wees om op sy eie ook maar aan te gaan naby in 'n lockdown situasie.
Ja nee, ons het nou die dag gesels daarso met die ouetjies van Bellville en ek dink die groot ding wat vir ons 'n teleurstelling was is die feit dat julle hierdie jaar die borg gekry het met Hollywood Bets en julle was net reg om aan die gang te kom en die Hollywood Bets so te pronk en almal te kan sien en toe kom ons nou net op die veld nie.
Ja, dit is beslis so 'n teleurstelling, ons het nou nie beheer wat gebeur in die land nie, maar dit was exciting times vir Bellville. Ons het uitgesien na die seisoen en ons visie vir die jaar was promotion 2020, so sit ons 'n bietjie terug, maar ook so sit dit die ander spanne ook.
Ferdy, en sê my gou-gou, hoe het julle gevoel oor die 2019 seisoen in terme van die spelers? Ons het Jerome Paarwater natuurlik, en Jerome is op die lyn met ons, so ons gaan hom eintlik vra wat hy gedink het van die season. Jy weet, Paarwater familie is mos vas by die Bellville Stadium.
Dit is so, 2019 was vir ons in 'n mate 'n bietjie van 'n teleurstelling. Ons het goed gedoen. Weer eens soos die vorige seisoen. Die TNT was nie klein, maar 'n bietjie weer in die strik getrap.
Ja.
Veral met die uitspelwedstryd waar ons in Kulsrugby gespeel het. En dit was taaf die laaste paar wedstryde waar dit was weer eens 'n geval van 'n hele paar wedstryde Woensdag, Saterdag, Woensdag en so aan. Maar is nou verby, dus ons sien uit na 21 in elk geval moet jy nou al beplan.
Ja, dis eintlik 'n feit. Kom ons gaan na Jerome toe en dan gaan ons kyk na een van die games.
Yes, JP, they had a great season last season, and I think it's for the last 2 seasons they were playing in the playoffs, and unfortunately for them they couldn't make it. But I think now with the sponsorship that they this year, maybe things would have been a little bit better for them. Because clubs need sponsorships to survive, and Bellville fortunate to have all these young players and to have a few experienced players. So I really think that the guys there at Bellville, with players and management, everybody was working very hard towards this season. I mean, what they've done to get the sponsorship. So yeah, unfortunately for them, I think this year they would have, because maybe third time lucky.
Let's take a look, Ferdy. We're going to take a look at one of your games here. I think our first game is Bellville, and Jerome, hopefully you can see the game as well on your side. So let's take a look at the game, and we can analyze the games a little bit.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.
Well, there we go, Bellville, and of course Bellville. Ferdy, jou gedagtes op daai game?
Ja, teen Bellville is altyd taaf. Almal weet mos is derby. En ja, almal wen, maar Bellville is baie gevaarlik as hulle by die speel en so af kan sien. Van soos Jerome weet, ons agter is Eyster en hulle word gebore hier in Bellville, so dit was 'n baie goeie en close game. Maar ons het die knoop deurgehaak, so dit was 'n goeie game.
Jerome, jou gedagtes op die game?
Ja, JP, ek was gelukkig was ek by daai game en dit was een van die beste, I think it was een van die beste games die seisoen wat ek gekyk het in klub rugby. En die eerste helfte, ek sal sê nie die eerste helfte nie, die eerste soort van 50-60 minute was Bellville heeltemal oor Bellville en hulle het hom so reg gespeel, want hulle het meestal met hulle voorspelers gespeel, want hulle het 'n redelike groot pak voorspelers gehad. En teen die einde toe daai groot manne van Belha begin moeg geraak met daai jong manne van Bellville, toe begin hulle die drieë inryg en ek kan onthou ek het daar langes aan Jerome Boysen gesit wat president is van Belha Rugby en hy het vir een van Belha se mense gesê wat daar langs hom sit sê jy kan nie vir Bellville afskryf nie. Ons moet wag tot op die laaste minuut om te kyk of ons die game gaan wen, maar die manne raak moeg en Bellville begin hardloop so en hy was reg geweest en die game het tot op die laaste gegaan om vir Bellville om hy punte te kry en hulle het hom reg gespeel op die einde gewag en hulle het baie geduld gehad op die dag en later dan het hulle Bellville se voorspelers ook begin Belha te domineer wat baie goed was.
Kom ons kyk gou na daai laaste game, Bellville St George's. Hierdie match was natuurlik op Nieuweland. Jerome, jy weet mos hoe die ouens gespeel het op Nieuweland en ek meen daai was 'n hele ander game en dit was groot passion en groot gees vir almal. Kom ons kyk gou na die game en dan kan ons ook maar kyk wat ons dink.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.
Well, there you go. Big game there, Newlands. Ferdy, soos ek sê, om op Nieuweland te speel is daarom 'n groot ding.
Ja, maar dit was een van die wedstryde wat die Judoprys gekry het. Tot en dit was 'n ruklang ry van dan is St George's skoor en dan is ons skoor. So jy kan van St George's nooit afskryf veral as jy op Nieuweland speel en dit is 'n soort van 'n regte finaal gewees. So maar by ons soos almal weet, ons skryf hom nie af nie. Jy wag tot die eindvlekkie blaas.
Jerome, daai was 'n groot game. Ek meen om op Nieuweland te speel, jy's by Nieuweland baie daai was lekker oomblik vir die mense, vir die spelers.
Ja, JP, dit was regtig 'n groot oomblik vir baie spelers en wat baie is amper soos geskiedkundig vir baie van daai spelers. Ek bedoel soos dit nou gaan, weet ons nie of ons die jaar weer op Nieuweland gaan rugby speel nie en hulle kan sê hulle was van soort van die laaste manne van die klubs wat op Nieuweland gespeel het. So elke speler van St George's of van al die spanne wat daar gespeel het, ou kan regtig wat trots voel as jy die geleentheid kry om op Nieuweland te gaan speel, want dit is een van die spesiale velde in die wêreld en so. Ja, ek dink die spelers gaan baie gelukkig wees wat die dag daar gaan speel het.
Ferdy, wat kom nou volgende vir julle in terme van, kyk, ons weet op die oomblik nog nie of ons kan speel of nie kan speel nie. Daai gaan ons nog sien in die toekoms, maar van die klub standpunt af of die spelers se standpunt af, is daar enigiets spesifiek waarop julle op die oomblik werk?
Ja, op die oomblik het die bestuur ook nog gekyk na gemeenskapsaktiwiteite veral met hierdie moeilike situasie waar werkers en spelers en mense nie werk wat hulle ook pakkies van uitdeel het aan behoeftiges. So dit was deel daarvan en ook ek verneem ook nou tans dat van die manne het al begin met die lockdown level 3 begin te draf. So dit is 'n goeie teken op ons hoop en vertroue maar so 'n vol vertroue dat die visie vir promosies is nog sterk.
Dankie Ferdi. Jerome, you're going to stay on the line with us. Ferdi, ons sê vir jou alles van die beste vir julle spelers daarso en vir die klub self en as ons enige support kan gee, moet julle net sê.
Ja, nee, baie dankie. Ek wil net nie nalaat om te sê namens ons bestuur en die klub wil ons net vir Mr. Ronde Bantam en vir Mr. Faisal Adam sterkte toewens tans met hierdie situasie waarin hulle is. Dankie en nogmaals dankie JP en Jerome.
Dankie Ferdi. Ja, nee, belangrike woorde daarso. Right folks, thank you very much. So don't go away. It's of course Cape Rugby TV and we keep reaching out to you during these difficult times. See you soon. Welcome back everybody, it's Cape Rugby TV time. We talked to you about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. Tonight's show is a little bit of a challenge, it's a little bit different, but we're trying to join forces, so to speak. And I've got Jerome Parvata on the line and I've got Salih Jacobs on the line. Let me first cross to Salih. Salih, how are things on your side, meneer?
Good under the circumstances, JP. Good to be chatting to you again. Finally good to be back at work and seeing the outside world,
Salih, of course, CPUT, it was a big season for you guys. You were hoping, of course, to get that promotion this year. It must be very disappointing for you guys.
Yeah, unfortunately, COVID struck, so that put a halt to our plans. And we were well on course to achieve that, or one step closer to that promotion game. So unfortunately, circumstances don't allow us to go up this year, but hopefully we'll be adequately prepared for next year for the promotion.
We're also joined on the line, of course, with Jerome Parvata. Jerome, if we talk to you from a team perspective, what was your feeling on CPUT? This was their big year.
Yeah, look, it was a bit of a slow start, but it was going to happen because they lost their coach. They changed to a new coach, so Alistair took over, and it normally takes a while for a coach to get used to the players, but once they got used to Alistair, the ball was rolling, the guys were actually playing good rugby, and unfortunate for them, I thought that they was going to be the team at the end there to go through.
Salih, do you think that Jerome is a bit of an opponent because we've seen him so instrumental at UWC?
Oh, look, Jerome he's been an asset to us this year. And so I don't see him as an opponent because even before the Madibas game, we had a session with him at the HBC. So he gave our forwards a couple of tips here and there to battle the mighty Madiba scrum. And yeah, like he says, in that game, we were very competitive up until the end. And we were even leading up until the last 10 minutes. Yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't pull it through at the end, but it was a good performance.
Jerome, if we look at Western Province Rugby, it's obviously a big feather in your cap to have 4 universities possibly in the Varsity Cup.
Yeah, JP, that's what we want, and that's why we help as far as possible. Or from my side, I help wherever I can help with any university. And as Salih was saying there, I was actually at that game against Madibas. They got a penalty, and Madibas was shocked when the guys asked for a scrum. I couldn't believe it, and they actually scrummed that big pack of Madibas. So yeah, I was. I think their coaching staff were panicking because that was one of their strong points, and then CPUT on a penalty took a scrum. I was surprised, and but we help wherever we can, JP, and we here for club rugby, and it's good to see that CPUT are doing well.
Jerome, how much of an asset is it to play in the Varsity Cup or the Varsity Shield before one plays in the league itself? Are these games how difficult is it to make the transition from Varsity Cup, Varsity Shield? There's a whole bunch of games that you play before playing in the league in Western Province.
Yeah, look, it's obviously it's a plus for the universities to play in the Varsity Cup or in the Shield because their preparation they start in October, like really almost like professionals starting in October, right through to their start, and then once they finish with the Shield or the Varsity Cup. If there's no injuries, then they have a good squad going forward. And I know what CPUT did I think it's last year they started with that. Last year, if a guy committed to play for CPUT, he must play for CPUT in the league also. So that helped them in the league because normally players left and go play at other clubs. So CPUT got that right. Players are staying at CPUT and playing for them in the league.
And Salih, are you guys also very strict around the education side? We spoke to the guys from UWC, and on their side, it's education first.
Yeah, I mean, education is obviously the first priority, and I mean, if you have a guy playing this year and you have a good season and he doesn't meet the requirements, the 60 credits, then unfortunately it means nothing. Then he can't play next year. So it's key for education to be the first priority. Our students this year we were allocated bursaries. So with that there's been an allocation for tutors. So our students and our players are actually being looked after academically and on the sporting side.
Well, that's great. I think we all agree that there has to be a career after rugby. For CPUT, though, one of the big games this year was Violets. When all the varsity, or at least last year, when all the varsity cup and varsity shield matters concluded, it was time to play Western Province League rugby, and that is renowned to be pretty tough as well. And Salih, for one of you guys, one of the big games this year was, and I think maybe for you on a personal note as well, was Violets. Let's take a look at this game and then talk us through it.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.
Well, there we go. Jerome, your feelings on that game before we go to Saudi.
No, JP, the one thing that I like about CPUT, you see the players of CPUT, they play with a smile on their face. If you watch this video, you'll see if their backs run or the guys in support, there's a big smile because they know what's going to happen next. The guy's going to step or he's going to pass and the next guy's going to score. It's for young guys, they enjoy it. And for some or other reason, they got it mixed right at CPUT.
Salih, your thoughts on the game, on that game itself? Was it a big game for you guys?
Yeah, JP, like you said, I mean, there was a little bit of history with myself, a club that actually offered me my start, where I initiated my SNC career. So, and I mean, going into the league, I always followed the results, and they were hammering teams in the Southern Zone. So I knew, I mean, when we do get them in the promotion league, it's gonna be tough. And they made some good signings, some big name signings also in the off season. So we knew what was coming for us. But the most complete 40 minutes of club rugby that we played for 2019.
Salih, you're the conditioning coach on that side. Getting to 80 minutes is your challenge.
Yeah, I mean that is key, and I mean that came from hard work in our off season at both camps and in our pre-season, and then with maintenance during the season. And I mean, we had some great guidance in our coaches last year in Ricky Peterson and Rito Glungwani. So the boys were in good hands, and work ethic wasn't a problem with our players.
All right then, folks, we're going to leave it at that. Salih, we're going to say thanks to you. We obviously hope that you're in touch with the players and telling them to stay safe and stay isolated and follow the lockdown regulations. We're waiting to see what the announcements will be with regards to practice and that. I'm sure for you it's a little bit better now that at least you know you can tell the players to train a little bit longer in the day, even if they're in isolation.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's great now. So we can actually modify programs a little bit because the guys can actually get out and start running on the road and getting some kilometers under their feet.
Jerome, have you got any questions or last-minute words of wisdom for Salih?
No, I just want to ask Salih, what's the last game that they played? So I don't know if Salih, I saw he went off the field. I don't know if he was getting thirsty or something, but I don't know what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, Jerome. If you do recall, that game was played in about, I think it was 42 degrees at City Park that day.
Exactly,
So,
you were a bit thirsty.
I was a bit thirsty, so I had to duck off into the changing room.
Clearly, there's an inside story. So we're gonna leave it at that. Salih, Jerome, stick around with us. Salih, we say thanks to you for joining us, and please stay safe out there and send our best to the players.
Well, do JP, thanks for having me on the show. Good chatting as always. Jerome, thank you for your advice as well.
Here we go, folks. Salih Jacobs, of course, conditioning coach at CPUT. And wow, we would have loved to see them on the park this year. Well, who knows? There might still be an opportunity in the Western Province structure. It certainly doesn't look like it's going to happen in the Varsity Cup. And of course, we send our very best to the players at CPUT, and hopefully they're carrying on with their studies. Back in a sec.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.
Well, welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV time. We carry on talking about the world of Western Province Club Rugby, and at the moment it's quite what we say lekker. We are talking to some of our clubs about the hits and memories of 2019, and of course their outlook on what they would have thought of in 2020. And joining me on the line now is Christopher Andrews. Christopher is, of course, at Franschhoek, and as we know, Franschhoek was really dominating in the beginning of the year at 2019, and we saw some really great derbies. Christopher, nice to have you back on the show, Meneer. How are things with you?
Hi, JP. Very good. Thank you very much for having me again this year. Otherwise, it's fine. Just still in-house, And on that note, also the passing of our former chairperson, Teswell Bonzaya, last week. So he played a huge role in setting up the Franschhoek system, So yeah, to his wife and family from our side, our deepest sympathy and condolences.
Yeah, that's very sad, Christopher. Of course, please pass on our condolences as well. We know that these are difficult times at the moment for everybody, and we wish our very best to his friends and family. Yeah. We're also joined. We're also joined on the line with Jerome Parvater. Jerome's been sitting on the side. Jerome, nice to have you on the sidelines there. Jerome, let's get the ball started. Franschhoek had a great season last year. But Super League B was, of course, a very tough league. Probably what we've been saying for a long time now as probably the toughest league of the year.
Yeah, it is, JP, and I mean, Franschhoek was one of the teams in Super B that the clubs know if they go to Franschhoek or Franschhoek come to you, you will have your work cut out. So you have to be on top of your game if you play against Franschhoek. What the guys were doing there with the fantastic rugby with the backs and the mixture with their forwards. So yeah, they really did well. So that's the management, the players, everybody. They really had a great season.
Christopher, it looks like Franschhoek are now becoming Super League B specialists.
Yeah, JP, definitely. We've been in the league, I think, since 2017. And yeah, I think a lot of other teams in the Cape Town area, they're a bit scared of Franschhoek because we're a team that like to play high-risk rugby, a wide, expansive game. And at any given day, we can shatter your dreams.
Yeah, look, it was one of your big games that we want to look at was Franschhoek Helderberg. Last year, and we spoke to Chris Extian, the coach of Helderberg last week, in fact. But looking at the log,
Yes.
Franschhoek and Helderberg in the beginning of the league, you guys were on top of the pile.
Yes, you know, we prepared very well for that game because it was a home game. And yeah, you know, the Helderberg team, they a very physical team. They like to take on the 10 and 12 channel. So we prepared our defense very well in those two channels. And then we just decided, let's go with our high-risk game, a wide attacking system. And on the day, it worked for us very well. And because last year we lost against them on that side.
Let's take a look at the game, and then Jerome, you can also talk us through your thoughts on the game.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.
Well, there we go, gentlemen. Christopher, it was a good win for you guys there, 25-12.
Yes. As you can see, very valuable points that we scored out of broken play, and also our wings, you know, jotting it down. So yeah, that was the plan, taking it wide, because we knew that the Helderberg team are very physical up front and in the first two channels, you know.
Jerome, as we said, the beginning of the season was an up and down, and then we slowly got to the point where we saw the top six emerging in Super League B, but every game was a close game.
Yeah, definitely Super League B. I mean, we've been talking about this all the time. Any team in Super League B, you must be ready for whatever comes to your side, because any team on the day can beat each other. So yeah, but it's good win for Franschhoek there, and I see that the Helderberg was dominating the scrums there. But Christopher, hopefully, because you had your two props, Charlton and Carlton, the twins, they were with me now
Yes.
for a few months in that Super Sport Challenge setup. So hopefully, regarding that scrums, they've learned a bit, and they're much more stronger now, I know, and they're good. They played their last game against SVD, their last friendly for us, and they were actually scrumming the guys of SWD. So that might be a positive to your club, because that was one of the problem areas in your club, is there's always the scrum. So hopefully they can add value to that.
Yeah, definitely, Jerome. Thank you for that. We value your input very high here in Franschhoek, you know. So yeah, those two boys, they will definitely go back into unity.
Thanks, Christopher. I think we're going to leave it at that. Jerome, any last words from you for Franschhoek and the guys?
Yeah, JP, I just want to congratulate Franschhoek on their is they had 6 players, starting off with 6 players in the SuperSport Challenge squad. And the one player, due to his work, he couldn't come anymore. But the 5 players ended up till the last day that before lockdown we were training, and in the last game that we were playing, we had 5 of their guys in the squad, and that's amazing. And I mean, Franschhoek is not, it's not too close to get from Franschhoek to Belleville, but they were here at every session, and the guys were, and you can just see how the guys were improving and they were enjoying themselves. I mean, the guys come directly from work to training session, put in the work, go back. The next day they're there again. So well done to the management in helping the guys to get there. So I was really looking forward to seeing this guys, because there was a few of that guys who I think would have played in the SuperSport Challenge if we would have played. So well done to, I mean, a lot of players in clubs say, yeah, I'm in the Super B or Super C or whatever, I'll never get an opportunity. But for me, guys who put in the hard work and like what the club were doing for this guy, supporting them coming here, that's the guys at the end of the day that you want to sit with and to, because their attitude is right and what the club was doing. So well done to Franschhoek for doing that for the boys.
Jerome, thank you very much for giving our guys the opportunity to showcase themselves on that level, you know. And hopefully in 2021, our guys will be back and to work with you again, Jerome. Thank you.
Thanks, Christopher. Again, from our side, all the best to the players, the management, and everybody on that side. And please, you know, send our best wishes. And we trust that you guys will stay safe and stay isolated under these difficult conditions. And who knows, maybe we'll still see a game later in the year.
JP, thank you very much for the opportunity once again, and for you guys as well. Stay safe.
Folks, Christopher Solomon is there, of course, assistant coach at Franschhoek, and what a pity we couldn't see the guys in the park, but what a fantastic accolade to hear what Jerome Parvard has said about it, the number of players from Franschhoek that managed to get into the SuperSport squad, and of course traveling long distances to make sure that they come to every practice, which they did, and that's a fantastic accolade for the guys at Franschhoek, and they really are a team that you can support at any time. Folks, we're going to take an ad break. When we come back from the break, we'll catch up with Ishmael Dolly. Hopefully Jerome Parvard stays on the line with us, and we find out his thoughts with Ish and Unimol. Back in a sec. Well, welcome back, folks. Cape Rugby TV. We keep talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. And we're looking at the hits and memories of 2019. And, of course, many of the clubs, of course, wanted to get back on the park for 2020. And I suppose none so more than Ishmael Dolly. He's, of course, regular on the show with us. We cross to him now and find out how he's doing. But at the same time, we take a look at some of the, call it hits and memories of Unimil. Ish, how are you on your side?
I am well, Jape. Hope you're good, healthy, and safe.
Yeah, I suppose we're as good as we can do under these conditions. It remains tricky, but nevertheless, keep plugging forward. And I think it's great to see that the clubs are staying active. So that gives us still the ability to reach out and keep talking.
Absolutely. It's a pity we have to look back on sort of the throwbacks and the old games in the past. But I guess that's the only thing we can look back in terms of content.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Folks are starting to ask for player profiles, and they're asking us to show some of the old games. So no, I think we're quite excited about it. I think obviously the dynamics have changed a little bit, but it is interesting to hear the stories of you guys and what it is that you thought in some of those games. And so we've picked some of your games, and I'm not going to tell you what they are. So you tell me from your side, what do you think was your 2 games of the year in 2019?
I think definitely the one that sticks out for me is Tygerberg. Tygerberg obviously being a powerhouse in Super A.
Right.
They come with a lot of history. Anton Molman was the coach. That's some really good players, and to play against the Tira is always tough. And to get one over them is very memorable.
Right. So we happen to pick one as well, and so far you've got 50% correct. That's out of our choices. Any other game? Another one that you might think of? It's a,
That's a tricky one.
Well, I tell you what we've got. We chose which what we thought was quite a nice game was the Unimall Villages game, and so we thought we'd ask you to give comment on that. But let's take a look at the Unimall Tygerberg game, and then we can talk about some of the ins and outs of that game.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.
Yes, you went on to win that game 27-21. We were looking at some of the games earlier on. Obviously, with the winter weather was back.
That game particularly, I mean, the conditions were not great. It was raining, it was windy, and it was just not perfect for us backs, to throw the ball around and look like rock stars. The forwards had to pull one out of the bag there, but I think everyone, those type of games, it's not about the flashy stuff. It's definitely about the guys of the character and digging deep, and I mean, those kind of conditions don't ask for pretty rugby.
How do you prepare for a team like Tygerberg?
I think number one, you got to have character, and you got to make sure that the guys are mentally in the right space and the right frame of mind, because they're going to throw everything at you. They have an exciting brand of rugby, like throwing the ball around. So you got to prepare for that. We knew that the conditions, as they say always, it's a leveler, and the guys had to make sure that the basics playing in the right side of the field. In those type of conditions, you actually don't want the ball. you want the opposition to play with the ball, so you try and give it to them, let them make mistakes, and then you try and capitalize it.
Oh, is that the game plan? Is that the strategy? I've never heard a coach say you don't want the ball. So that's interesting. That's interesting. I think you're giving some of your game plans away, because I know that a lot of coaches out there are always very nervous about playing rugby against you, because they know that there's Ishmael Dari plays a very strategic game, very clever game, and we're certainly aware of that. So you've got the reverse psychology going on there. I get that. We're going to give you the ball. You're going to think you've got it, and we're going to take it away from you.
Well, I mean, penalties are. I mean, in those conditions, like I said, it's windy, it's rainy. You're not going to have a lot of passes string together. So the guys that made the least mistakes, I think those are the ones that are going to come out top, especially in those conditions. 2019
was also an interesting season for Villagers. We know that one of the oldest derbies is Villagers and Hamiltons. And there was a score to settle there that came back a long time, and we saw that in 2019, Villagers managed to just at the very end pull one off over Hamiltons. You guys then went on to play Villagers. Let's take a look at those highlights and then talk us through it.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks. This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.
36-27 in favour of Unimil on the day, but I think we could agree Villagers certainly were a different team in 2019.
It's always great playing Villagers. Villagers, I mean, with Hammies being one of the oldest clubs in the country, so they come with a lot of history and a lot of pedigree. We played them in a preseason game before, about 2 or 3 months before that, and we beat them quite comfortably. And I think the challenge was, and always when you play each other in a friendly and you come back into the league, it's always very difficult, almost to rise again to the occasion. And I think the guys probably thought, listen here, we've beaten them before. Should be a walk in the park, and that was always a battle that us as coaches were gonna have to try and get into the guys. Is that guys, what happened in the past? It's history. It's done. It's dusted. It's a new game. And credit to Villagers, they played very, very well that game, and I think we were a bit lucky to beat them on the day.
Yeah, they certainly were, in my opinion, a different team in 2019, and it's been great to see their progress. But I think, Ish, I mean, you guys walked a similar sort of road. Maybe not the relegation side of things now in the last sort of 5 years, but the trajectory, climbing back up and getting stronger. And Super League A, it certainly looks like the teams there, anyone can beat anyone on any given day.
Yeah, I think the goal was always, when I started out at Unimil, to get into the top league and play with the likes of the Tigerbergs, the Villagers, the Hammies, and the various prestigious universities. And I mean, that's always been the goal. It's been a long road. I've been at this club for 9 years, so it's been through ups and downs. And but I mean, we're enjoying playing in the top league. It's a pity that conditions this year didn't allow us to have a season, but I think importantly, we got to make sure we get to the other side and build that relationship up again with the clubs. I see clubs are starting to talk amongst each other, potential friendlies, and it's a bit maybe too soon, but I mean, it's a positive note.
Hopefully we can get some sort of activity. Maybe there's a small chance of seeing club rugby behind closed doors somewhere down the line.
I'm not sure that's I'm not sure where that can take place, number one. Secondly, club rugby is a community sport, without people, it's just not viable, I think, club rugby is people. And I don't think that can be possible if we don't have either the vaccine or the facilities to have it going.
Ish, we leave it at that. We hopefully catch up with you again soon. And of course, as always, we say stay isolated and pass our best to the friends and family of Unimil.
Thank you, JP, and we look forward to chatting again next week.
There we go, folks. It's always great catching up with Ish. Love chatting with him. Get the ins and outs of what's happening in Western Province Club Rugby. Folks, that's a wrap from us here at Cape Rugby TV. We'll keep bringing you the show. We'll keep talking about what's happening in the world of Western Province Club Rugby. We'll keep looking at the hits and memories. We've got some interesting announcements coming up over the next few weeks. So please make sure that you tune in every Wednesday between 9 o'clock and 10 o'clock. And don't forget the repeat on Saturday morning, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. here on Cape Town TV, DSTV channel 263. We'll see you again next week, same time, same place. Bye-bye.
This Cape Rugby TV feature is brought to you by Direct Access, your financial services partner, and Score Energy Drinks.